been a bit since I made one of the furnace videos, and I have to make a couple videos in filler before I get to the 200th video because I have something special planned for that, so we're gonna do a furnace video today. Before I go downstairs and plug this thing in, to clarify, I have a bunch of old jewelry that my grandmother gave me that she does not need anymore, and it's not really like antiques or anything like that. She just kind of gave it to me, which I'm gonna melt down. Because a lot of it is presumed to be silver, and if it all is silver, I can probably get a couple ounces from it. I'll get like $100 out of it. I'm not gonna sell it, but I mean, you know, I will have a couple $100 worth of silver, so yeah, it's a good time. Alright, I brought everything down here, and I got my little crucible filled up with all random little jewelry bits. I tried to melt some stuff a while back, and it didn't really go well. It all just kind of stuck together, and it wasn't really, and it didn't really ever stick together because all the stuff, it was either not silver or I just didn't have enough heat to try to melt it all down. But now I have this, the classic Legoshi melting furnace, of course, which will definitely do the job well, I think. But all I really have to do is heat this up to, I believe, 980 degrees Celsius, because it's around 960 degrees Celsius for the melting point of silver, so I figured putting it up to a little bit higher than that should get it where I want. And so we begin. In the meantime, though, we can proceed to set up every other little bit. Oh yeah, one other thing I realized, too, is that you can see that the lights are flashing on the furnace, right? Well, no, actually, they're not flashing. In real life, that is not at all what they are doing, because if I go really close to it, you can see that they're not. I guess fluorescent lights like that, they tend to flicker on camera when you're far away from them. I haven't a clue, but I feel it's an interesting little bit. Anyhow, I'm gonna have to rehydrate my casting sand, because last time I, had this stuff, it really was kind of dry. And well, considering I haven't melted stuff in a couple of months, it certainly is going to be dry this time. You can tell this stuff is very dry. It has not really had much water in it for a bit now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little spray bottle over here. We're going to fill my little mold area thing up there, and I'm going to get some water in it so it gets all nice and structured so I can pour this in it without it just completely collapsing. Alright, sand's in, and now you know what time it is. It may seem like I'm adding a lot of water here, but once I start moving the sand over top, it's gonna completely dry out again, so I'm gonna need to add quite a bit. Alright, water's been added, now we can compact it all down to kind of get our mold ready. We got a bar mold. Oh, you'll love to see it. That is mainly liquid. I'm gonna wait for it to finish up, and then once that's all melted down and everything like that, I can pour it out, I can put it into the mold over there, and we should be ready to go after that point. And now we stir. Alright, so I believe that there is a bunch of steel at the bottom of that currently, which I'm going to get up with my little brush thing there. And once I do that, I can then get everything out of there, and I'll probably mix in some borax as well to kind of clean everything up. And then once I do that, I'll be able to kind of get it all nice and, good. It'll work.
We got some slag, folks, and we are ready to pour. And into the bucket we go. Now I think I'm gonna remelt that down and make a smaller mold, because that did not really turn into a bar as much as it just did a puddle. So we're gonna make a smaller mold, and yeah, it's gonna go better.
But that aside, this is silver, and back in it goes. This time around, I think we're using 9-volt battery as my mold, because what I can do with that is I make a smaller little bar thing without having to really use any of the wood here. That just makes it way too large. I think this will make a good little nugget of silver, and I'll be able to get some nice stuff out of it. Look at that, a nice little bar. You love to see it. It's nearly done melting again, because it was one solid piece, so it goes much quicker now without all the extra little gunk on the top, so pretty good.
And on to pour number 2. This one's looking much better than the last one. And now into the bucket with this one.
Looking pretty good. And the grand total is 122 grams. Now that roughly translates to 3.4 troy ounces of silver, which I actually have around 4 ounces because I have a couple more grams within the slag that I can remelt down later on. But that roughly equivalates to, yeah, actually I don't have the number, I need to look that up real quick. Alright, and the price is, drum roll here, it is $102. So I have $102 worth of silver now. This is a pretty good day. Crack open a LaCroix to celebrate.